Good evening, this is George Lees again, just finishing off video number 3 on Michael Ancram, the Marquis of Lothian, and all of his business interlocks. He's relatively innocent. He has to be really careful as a Westminster politician, and he's been ever so careful since I became a fraud researcher, like all of his colleagues. Yet they're clinging on by their fingertips. This is a listing of the Tweed Foundation. This is the ownership of the River Tweed, which is the border between England and Scotland. Yeah, much contested, a bloody place. Yeah, and all of the dirty tricks that have been deployed to keep it in English hands for all of that time are massive. I'm going to read out the names, and then I'm going to take you back to the links to Michael Ancram and his lackeys in the business world, and they are also lackeys in the profiteering world, because they profit as directors of the paramilitary organisations that run the tattoos all over the world. Yeah, they run all of the foundations and museums to the dead people of the regiments. Yeah, and all of the money is into their money stream. Yeah, the Tweed Foundation and all of the Walter Scott affiliations and all of the affiliations of the corrupted Borders Council, all of the leaders are millionaires. The people that are the councillors are just slaves to them. Yet they run the debt pool through the COSLA thing, and those are the videos that have been crashed even before I was able to release them. Yeah. So let me read off the names, and some of them will be familiar to you. I will explain the significance of others, like the name Joyce. The last man to be executed for treason in Britain was Lord Haw. The Dukes of Northumberland's neighbours are the Joyces. Yeah, that is likely to be the Joyce that was the fascists' affiliation to Oswald Mosley and the Redesdale people on the Scottish-English border, that are the fascists that become the Hitler supporters and then become I think it was Eric Joyce is the cover for him in the modern day Houses of Parliament, and I forget the name of Lord Haw. He was a Joyce. Yeah, and that is the massive links to Oswald Mosley and the British fascists, and all of the stories about the Mitford sisters. Okay, so Duchess Victoria Mary Sutherland, she sent the colonists to the colonies. This is the Tweed Foundation that I'm reading from here. This is in the good old days. Yeah, you can see all of them are on the take for lengthy periods of time from 2010 right up to the current day. The Duchess of Sutherland, who sent the colonists away and is related to Levison Gower, who ran the Levison inquiry on behalf of the elites so that they could get remunerated again on behalf of the incursions into their life, allegedly, of the corrupted polis. His Grace the Duke Guy David Innes Kerr Roxburgh with an E. Everything is an obfuscation tool. That's the Ineos. Jesus, middle name. Lord James Michael Lord Haw, potentially. Okay, the Northumbrian people that totally own the whole of the River Tweed. Yeah, Mr. Douglas Henry Younger, that will be the brewery firms. Yeah, Mr. Douglas Jardine Doby, the Doby Gardner firms that grow the peasel flowers just outside Dalkeith. Mr. John Philip Henry Schomberg-Scott, this is Michael Ancram's bloodline. They are the Marquises and the Barons of Lothian. Yeah, they are based in that Dalkeith place. They are based all over the Lothian coast, and they are the people that were the architects for the houses that the Lothian bloodline and the Teviot dukedom live in. But the Teviot dukedom now, since World War II, since the German royal sires were sent away for being the Germans on the losing side, allegedly, Yeah, they've been sent back to Germany. The Schomberg-Scotts were the architects who built Michael Ancram's current residence. No one is prepared to tell me, and they were massive leaders out of Germany in the South African region in those horrible pan-continental wars to take over that massive but still impoverished continent. All of the mining assets have been taken from it. Mr. Michael Kevin Moore is the alias for Mr. Michael Ellis Moore, who ran the P&O shipping scams. This is the one who's registered as a director and links to the Kroll assassination bureaus. Yeah, and he has only been on the Tweed Foundation since he was booted out of the cabinet. Yeah, if it is indeed the same person, it may well be an obfuscation tool for the massive sins of that Michael Moore that was in video 2, along with the American comedian that covers up all of the tracks. Yeah, Mr. Nicholas Patrick Young, I have nothing sinister to declare about him. Mr. Richard James Onslow, Mr. William Allen Virtue, Prof. Roger John Wheater. This lady I know, I have worked for, and some of my friends work for her. She's in a wheelchair now, and she's one of the few Jews allegedly in our region. Yeah, Miss Jennifer Jane Lovett, really nice, fallen out with her brother. They've got carved up the River Tweed on opposite banks in the Ord region. Yeah, Mr. Andrew Douglas Home, the prime ministerial bloodline that carpet bombed, yeah, the Garden of Eden, which is Eden in their story. Yeah, and that is the predecessor to Harold Wilson, the socialist with the Pi Pizzo peace pipe. Yeah, who also carpet bombed Eden for the BP plant there. Mr. David Hugh Baxendale, Mr. John Callaghan Curry. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the things that we missed out in the earlier video. I had a whole series of images lined up for you to see. Okay, and these are the links of the treason in Dundee to Claverer and all of the border Scottish jokes. This is Rob Roy McGregor, played by the Schindler's List actor. Yeah, I forget what his name is, Liam Neeson. Okay, this guy is the man who is the Archie, the bad guy who does all of the fighting for the English dukedoms, and the actor that is in the movie playing his boss and his sponsor is the one who is Richie Rich in the movie about the beheading of Thomas More. Yeah, and this is the joke that is the Rothschild's joke that somebody called Elkenden is the elk horns that they use as the weapon in these massive jokes about Scottish freedom. Okay, and that's the Dundee joke where Brian Cox plays the treasonous person in the Bonnie Dundee region, and I'm going to show you later on. So they fight to the death, him versus him, yeah, and all of it is a betting scandal, and he eventually lops his head off by grabbing the sword when he's lying prone on the ground. Okay, so all of it is the Scottish treason. That's him in his more Pizzo horsey gear. Okay, and that is the Archie Louse character that is in the Pizzo family all the way through. Yeah, that is in the Fish Called Wanda, Archie Leach. Okay, it is absolutely a repeating abomination that they can get away with it, these elite families, for so long. Okay, and there's the next ones that I forgot to show you this morning. Rob Roy McGregor film Claverer. Yeah, this is the Claverer spoke. It's in the Corrie songs about Dundee and Bonnie Dundee, and there is my attempts to find Claverer again. There is nothing. I saw a body double for the person that is depicted. Oh, here he is. So that is got long hair. There's a body double and his girlfriend in Kelso yesterday afternoon. Okay, he was killed defending Scotland at Killiecrankie, but he is an Episcopalian. It's the most powerful church in the world, and he was a double agent working on behalf of the Kirk and all of the cross-religious frauds. The Episcopalians are the Piso family that defrauded the whole of the Christian Bible. Okay, and all of it leads to the deaths of many, many people, and the Claverer company is still on the listings for the Howards of Norfolk and all of these interlocks to all of the owners of the River Tweed. Okay, that's the last of the images, and just to show you where all of them come from, or many of them, this is the Rothschild and Hitler Rothschild's place. That's waiting for you on my other computer, which is sitting on the couch there. Yeah, all of the links to Bavaria and all of the links to Austria, Germany, Frankfurt, yeah, and the other trading families take you into Latin America. Yeah, it's absolutely massive. So there is Augsburg, which is where two of those new families come from. I'm going to be introducing you to them tomorrow. Okay, that's right next to the Munich Lodge for the BMW magnates on the Forbes Rich list, and right next door to Hitler's Nest and Salzburg. Yeah, all of the places in the Viennese region where the Rothschild central banks are set up. Yeah, this is Branau am Inn, that is the River Inn, that is the birthplace for Hitler. Yeah, it is the birthplace for Pope Benedict, and it is no room at the inn for Jesus in the massive piss take against the world's people. And all of the ski slopes are all around it. There's the Innsbruck region, yeah, for the all of the fascists, and the Brooks name is now associated with that, which is why Rebecca Brooks is in the Chipping Norton set, and why my mate Gav is listed on the British fascists with Oswald Mosley. Okay, he's passed on now, luckily. Okay, and that's the Munich and the lodge for the Bears in Munich that is the Swiss Alpine region that the Bear Rothschilds came from. Okay, all through it I've got all the links to land ownership all across the continent of Europe and then into Venezuela for those families that came out of Augsburg. Yeah, and Switzerland is strictly neutral through the whole fucking thing. Okay, right, so let's now take you back to Michael Ancram. This is episode 3 of his story. Okay, so this is the Marquis of Lothian's simple business registration, all that we wanted to find for him. So I looked up Lord Lothian, and we've got the Marquis of Lothian, Peter Francis Walter Kerr. That could be the one who's based in the south, who lives in the Melbourne Hall. Yeah, I don't know whether or not that is his brother. Then you've got the 13th Marquis of Lothian. You've got Mr. William Drummond. Yeah, that's the Drummonds that I'm associated with in the battles at the Sheriff Court, who's given me a lifelong gagging order. Yeah, and that is on the cover-ups of Arnott Manderson and the killing of Moira Anderson and the false law company that was set up to protect Scotland from becoming independent in the referendum. Arnott Manderson, part of the spring-offs of the Speculative Society in Edinburgh. That's a recognisable name. The Campbells are coming as a treasonous act. They've got 59 crashed companies of the 68 that they've run. Okay, so this is Michael Ancram's links, and the reason that he's in a war with the man called Stuart Usher is because Brodie's defrauded Stuart Usher of all of his land at the top of Michael Ancram's massive estate of Monteviot, right next door to the Vesties that flounce off in wartime to Australasia and to Argentina and South America and run that massive beef empire. And in those regions on the Carter Bar we're getting very close to the boundary with the Reedsdales, Oswald Mosley and the Mitford sisters, and that is the Amfravilles, and take you right into Ponteland and the bridge to England of the World Ownership Team. Okay, so the Kerrs came in with the Muirdachs, that's the Murdochs, from the Sutherland region, and all of them still have massive estates up there. The Duchess of Sutherland has estates, the Vesties have estates, and it's a massive carve up. Okay, and the administrators, so Brodie's run on these people's behalves 306 companies in all. Okay, Alistair Campbell, remember, is the director at Company Check and was Tony Blair's spin doctors in Iraq. He went with the 2005 British Lions, and he is likely to be interlocked still, if it's the same one, to Todd Blackadder, David Murray and all of the money laundering vents with the Rothschild Trust in Dunedin and in Parnell, Auckland. Okay, does not get more treasonous, does it? All of the money is taken from the Treasury early doors when each of the new regimes is elected. Okay, let's now take you back to the beginning of this cascade. I wanted to show you how the Dukes of Arundel are linked to the family, and I believe that will be through the Melrose School linkage and the linkage to either Schomberg-Scott, which is the legendary German name, and that is the architect for the Marquis of Lothian. It's absolutely, and all of them are Germans. That is the Battle of Waterloo, that is the Napoleonic Revolution, and it is the building, and all of the refugees fleeing to Melrose, fleeing to Northampton, and fleeing to that elite place in Wales, which I keep forgetting the name of. And so let me just put the camera down for a few ticks, and I'll scan through that list and take you right back to the beginning, and I'll show you people of the magnitude of John Robertson Wright, who with Michael Moore, they run the Borders College out of Dubai in the tax havens as a registered charity. All of it is a scam, and these are the directors that get the benefits right into their back pockets. So let me just scan back one, and that'll take ages. It's not going to let me go back any further than that, but that's Schomberg-Scott on the director profile, interlocking to the man hog that we talked about in video number 2. I don't know if it's going to let me take you right back to Hogg himself. Okay, we can still go further back. And there we can go to. So Waterloo 2015, I showed you in video number 2. That's where we'll start, and we'll go forward from there. It is absolutely massive. And many of those people that run the Tweed Commission are claimants to the English throne at some time or another. And Robert Bruce is the hero, of course. That's King Robert I for the Melrose Freemasons, the Abbotsford Trust, and all of the stuff that comes out of Dryborough, where Lord Sanderson of Bowden told me that I must kill fish if I wanted to keep his job, my job with him. I rejected that and told him to fuck off, fat bastard. He's now over 80. All of his companies have been crashed. He's a massive asset stripper. And he's got another huge list of 17 or more in the textiles industry, which he runs out of Hawick. Yeah, they put the jerseys in a bag for Lyle and Scott. They cost 250 quid. They're made in China. Right then. Yeah, that's the golfing jerseys for the elite cabal that run the golfing world. Okay, so Waterloo 2015. That's the penis pile on top of the mountain, right above Michael Ancram's home, and right next to Fatlip's Castle, which the council in Hawick have this year, 2 years ago, they upgraded it and rebuilt it as a museum. Yeah, that is all of the Governor Generals in India, in America, and in Canada, and in Australasia. Yeah, all of them have massive linkages of their names. The Elliots, the Douglases, the Kinnamonts. It is massive, yeah, and all through it you've got the fact that these are the people that represent Britain in other people's countries and steal every one of them from the indigenous people. All of the religious believers are displaced in massive genocides, yeah, and this is the taking over of the Bank of England by the Rothschilds 200 years ago last year. Yeah, that's why they're celebrating it. This is the fundraiser for it, and Michael Ancram is one of the 2 directors with the man that we'll see next. Okay, so this is the director listing, and there's Lieutenant Colonel Colin Grant Ogilvy Hogg. We click on him and we get further into the cabal of massive interlocks with the world owners. Yeah, remember that the Murdochs use the new police constable Gormley as a cover for the fact that Lizzie Murdoch in Chipping Norton has a Gormley on her board. That's the daughter of Rupert, married to the Freud character that's in the Prime Minister's drinking club in Chipping Norton. Okay, this is the man with no photos on the internet. I'll just keep going. Yeah, this is, he is registered at Hague House. That's Butcher Hague. The jokes about the Chancellor at St Andrews University and Butcher Hague, that is all. He's more interested in his horses getting home safely than the returning troops. Yeah, and he appears in the Blackadder comedies as the buffoon, yeah, who stays well away from the battle. He ran the British Legion and the Poppy Fund for several decades. And his family live right up where Wallace's statue is, opposite Dryborough, opposite David Murray's golf course, and where I was asked by Lord Sanderson of Bowden to kill fish during the period when they're not allowed to kill. That's Lord Sanderson of Bowden, who negotiated the EU fish quotas for Mrs Thatcher for 30 years. Crashed all the supermarkets, all the Clydesdale banks, and he is a massive fraudster. Okay, right then, let's keep going. So there's no pictures of this man on the internet, and this is Green Road, and in Edinburgh, EH7 4HQ. And here now we've got all of the profiteers that are lined up with these people. This is the listing that includes, sadly, Lady Jane Grosvenor as Marielle, unless that's one of her children's middle names too. That's Guy Inniskerst. So there's Her Grace, Duchess of Jane Marielle. Yeah, she's now in the Norfolk region, but not with the Norfolks. That's the elites move all over the country. Okay, there's Charles Russell Sanderson. Yeah, Mrs Thatcher's EU fish quota negotiator, who told me about the massive crimes of the Spaniards who use 7-mile long nets That was the same day he asked me to murder the salmon when you're supposed to be preserving them. Okay, Earl of Dalkeith, yeah, Richard Walter John Dalkeith, the King's Own Scottish Border Museum, the King's Own Scottish Border Association funds. Yeah, I don't have time to look at the millions of pounds that they have in there. Yeah, the Borders Council that were run by the same people are massively bust for cash, as is the Scottish Government. It's all in the Rothschilds' debt pool and all in the Lloyds banking group, or Ontario. Massive stockpiles of crashed companies and all of the assets that have been taken into the private investment accounts, largely in the tax havens or in Switzerland. Yeah, it's the Rothschilds and the Bavarian homelands for Hitler Rothschild and all of the people that were involved, and I've got all of that on that other computer. It's going to take me a couple of days to catch up with the backlog. Okay, let's keep going forward. Okay, so 24 companies, only two of them are still live. Yeah, since I came on their scene and I came back from New Zealand. Right then. So this is Sanderson. 21 crashed of the 24. And that's just showing you his date of birth. Born in 1933. He's old and crusty, yeah, which is why he does not have the capacity to contest things now. He just bails out of it. Okay, Becketsfield, yeah, that's John of Becket. I think that's part of the religious story too. There's all his companies. The Edinburgh Woolen Mill, still active on that one. Consensus Scotland, Clydesdale Bank PLC, Kairos, AWG, Ponzi Shelf 11 Limited. Yeah, they have no shame. Aldi's, yeah, the supermarket that has now become, I think that is Lidl's now. Yeah, all of them have been asset stripped and bundled up. And one of them was the Co-op Bank. Yeah, it's absolutely massive. The Co-op supermarkets, and that was a mutual where the investors had savings accounts, and I can still remember my mother's store account, 4 digits in it. Okay, Norman's Bay Limited. He had, the last time I looked, a massive company in Australia, but that's been disappeared this time. Okay, so there's the Hoyk Cashmere Company, Kairos International Limited. Oh, that could be the Australian company. The Abbotsford Trust, really sinister. Yeah, that's an ancient pact of Freemasons. Yeah, when the lodge was set up in Gala in the 16th century, they had a force 5 earthquake there. Here you've got his interlocks to the prime ministerial families in John Lamont's Coldstream. Yeah, and that is the Coldstream regiments that are the Coldstream Guards, and all of their dead men's boots, and they still have a shop for that in the High Street. Okay, and we've shown you, I've not shown you the Abbotsford Trust directors, but let's just keep going, because I think everything we can find now, when we get to the Claverer company, I think that will take us into the links to the Dukes of Norfolk. Yeah, who Michael Ancram is married into Mr. Andrew Douglas Home, the Fish Conservancy Centre. Do you get it? All of them are cynical hypocrites. Yeah, these ones are financial services magnates. They rent the people who I might have gotten my pension from. The pension is worthless because of the terms and conditions now. If you take the national one, the growth rate for that, which is bound and is pledged to be immune from crashes, you only get 1% return on that. Yeah, you cannot keep your pension lifelong. You have to spend it in a massive blitz now, which is why they release it and all of the, not the debentures, the I forget what you call it when the fund maintains its own value through all of your pension period. The annuities are now frowned upon because they've made them so scandalously low in interest rates that no one is prepared to take them. It's a massive buy and binge and asset strip everything that is viable. Same happens in the lead up to all of the great conflicts. You might have noticed that in World War I and World War II. Okay? Do you get the irony of it? Yeah? He blames the Spaniards, like Howard in the Thomas More film says to Thomas More, "This is not Spain, Thomas. We have no corruption here to speak of. The king only wants 6 wives and wants to be God's representative in England." Yeah, right then. Let's keep going. Andrew Douglas Home. This time, it's his interlocks. Abbotsford Trading. There's nothing sinister here. There's a good company in our town, a very reliable employer, employing Murrays, employing hogs, the slaves for, and now it all makes sense. The hog rugby player was involved in a fatal accident the day that my eldest son's rugby jersey was stolen at the Kelso Sevens, and that fatal accident occurred on the road end from Michael Ancram's residence at Monteviot, right under Pinal Heath. That's the place that is not mentioned. And here's the Maxwell Scots cabals, and James Peter Murray, and the Holloways. Ron Holloway is the man who, with the person I spoke to, who was the Duke of Norfolk, yeah, that's the brother-in-law of Michael Ancram. He spoke to me the other day and told me that he knew Ron Holloway, who was the director of the Wild Trout Society, who I first met on the Itchen Valley, and he was feeding pellets to the wild trout that he represents. Yet he wears +4s, and all of them are pathetic English profiteers. Yeah, and it is absolutely sickening that the working man in Scotland succumbs to what we call peer pressure. Yet there is no one who's prepared to take them on. Okay, this one's a legend. This is the Germans that are the Schomberg-Scotts, yeah, that I've been looking for. Yeah, you cannot find them even in the Episcopalian Church. Okay, he's got huge numbers of interlocks. He's on the Jewish Policy Studies Unit. He interlocks with the Duchess of Sutherland on the National Gallery, and for some reason we're looking at the wrong part of this page. Okay, John Phillips, so he was born in 52, relatively young man. No one is allowed to know what they look like. Yeah, I've asked and asked, do anybody know a Schomberg-Scott in this church or in this region? Yeah, and about his legendary history with the links to the Republic of South Africa and the German colonies on the west coast of Africa. Okay, these ones are worth millions. Okay, all of the government institutions are in the debt pools. Okay, 33 resigned from 20, still 10 active. Let's take a closer look. Okay, Impacts Alliance Trust Equity Partners. So this is big time financial services. Alpha Insurance Analysts, Archimedes Partners, Archimedes Partners Trustees, Bluefield SIF Investments, CC, Japan Income and Growth Trust PLC. That's the Japan that we manipulate relentlessly, and we blow them up with our nuclear weapons to end the war. The FDR and Winston Churchill and all of the people in the Rothschild and the Royal scams that is the stammering speech, cannot account for themselves. Yeah, all of them are the world-owning bloodlines, and they are massive killers. Dawson 2012 Limited. Okay, Dunedin Income Growth Investment Trust PLC. This is the Scottish borders, remember? Yeah, that's where David Murray takes his tax immune savings from, and the profits from all of the scams against the Rangers supporters, and his massive interlocks with Julian Callum Lamont and all of the aristos all over our country, including the Dukes of Buccleuch. Frere Truck Limited. It's the brothers, by the way. Yeah. And I think this will take me onto the next page, but I'm not sure. Oh no, it hasn't. So I'm going to take you back and take you to page 2, 3 and 4 for Schomberg-Scott, because he is a massive interlock with many of the power base. And if you look for his interlocking directors, that will be an even longer list, and I believe that may have been the link to the Howards of Norfolk and Arundel. Okay, Grocers Hall Limited, Argylle HPR Investments, Impacts Environment. Here it is, JP Morgan, Claverer House. He's the long-haired person who's the Episcopalian, right in the middle of the wars, the Covenanters wars in Scotland. Ends up dead. Yeah, God sees to all of the people getting what they deserve in the end. That's why David Murray is legless. Okay, that's JP Morgan, the legend. And I'm drinking Morgan's Rum this evening. Okay, Lazard and Company Limited, that's the Rothschild linkage. Martin Curry, Asia, a best friend of mine at the church. Yeah, the man who had the Canadian worshipper across with him. Unconstrained Trust is called Martin Curry. Yeah, he's the one who brought his children in the army uniform to demonize Islam on Remembrance Sunday 2 years ago, when I made the video with Jim Fetzer on the massive religious frauds. Yeah, and Jim Fetzer had to stop it short halfway through our airtime, pretending that he was breathless and he was going to have to need his coronary operation on the Tuesday of the following week. Okay, so number 3, so the Millers are the grinding the bones to flour. Miller Insurance Holdings, and the Millers are the owners of the junction pool that had their fishing hut buried at sea the other week in the biblical floods, the last time they took me to Jedburgh Sheriff Court, when they're trying to steal my house for Chipping Norton and the cabal that Mrs. Valerie Jane Lees, nay like Jesus, yeah, nay Hancocks. Miller Insurance Investments Limited, Mosette Estates Limited, Oundle School Services Limited, PH Dawson Limited, Quick Track Telecommunications UK Limited, Schroeder, Hitler's Bank, Snowy Cameron's funders in the coercion of the bringing down of the Twin Towers. That's Schroeder's of London, in inverted commas, who had to bail out to New York so that they could profit from World War II, no longer in London because they were at war with Hitler that they also funded. Schroeder's Japan Growth Fund PLC. This is Schomberg-Scott. That is the Schomberg-Scotts of the Marquis of Lothian bloodline. I forget what number they were in the Marquisdom. Yeah, Hitler's Bank. Blind Prince George of Cumbria's Teviotdale. Yeah, no one knows where this guy is or what he looks like. There are no pictures. Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust PLC. That's the mortgages that the university students can no longer afford because they're in the debt pool. St Mary's School at Melrose, John Jeffrey. Yeah, all of the people that were my heroes when I was besotted with sport, which is just the cover of all of their sins in financial services and the genocides, unfortunately, in wartime and in peacetime when they win the Peace Prize. Tarquin Resources PLC, okay, and the Tarquin people are all over my Facebook posts as freedom fighters. Ever such a romantic name. Here we've got it, the Abbotsford Trust, the Tweed Foundation. I could show you the directors at the Abbotsford Trust, but that might interfere with the Claverer thing. Let me show you the... no, I'd better keep going on. We can come back to the Claverer boards and see if the Norfolks are on it. Okay, so this is the Tweed Foundation. They've only got 0.6 of £1 million at the moment. Yeah, they've got 15 directors in total. 4 of them have bailed out. Okay, and let's just keep going. And I think this is where we started with the listing of the directors. Duchess Victoria Mary Sutherland. Yeah, His Grace Guy Inniscare. Only one company registered for each one of these. That's their other scam. They keep changing their names or the middle addresses or the hyphens, and all of a sudden they've only got one to cover up. Okay, that's the Joyces that are not the Percys, but they are the other landowners in the Northumbrian region. Yeah, and that is the region that is Ford and Etal. Okay, so this is where we started, and where is, so there's Michael Kevin Moore, the Assassination Bureau, the former MP for my constituency and the man who refused to meet me. So let's go back to I'm not sure where that Claverer thing is. Let's see if we can find it. So that's number 1. Sorry, this must be very boring for you, but every song that the Corries sings has got sinister connotations. Yeah, all of the Bonnie Prince Charlie jokes. There it is, JP Morgan Claver House Investment Trust. Let's have a look at the board there. So this is new ground again. We might find nothing. They've got 346 million at the bank. Yeah, quite well off, as you would expect with the name JP Morgan. Okay, let's find their directors. 60 Victoria Embankment, London. Yeah, the biggest joke in world history. All 9 of her children by the Rothschilds are bastards. Her eldest daughter is Princess Victoria. She lives on the Duke of Argyle's mull in the place where we went on our holidays. Yeah, several years. And that is called Knock House, and that is the Duke of Argylle in the Braveheart movie, played by Brian Cox, who takes Braveheart away to Italy and France to learn how to be an elite thief. Okay, so the directors on this company, Claver House, is the man with the long hair in the Dundee treason, and he's mentioned in the Corries lyrics. Claver House spoke. Yeah, and the carving up of the whole of Dundee. Oh, this is the one with the directorships that include the Tufnell women that are Jane Rothschilds. Okay, here he is. So we've got it. We have found the link to Mark Fitzallen Howard. Yeah, and the pictures I showed you in video number 2 of the Howards of Norfolk that look exactly like the Corleone actor that was Godfather 1. Yeah, played by Marlon Brando, which is just the cover for Brandeis in the demonization of the Jews in World War I that extended the war from 1917, when Woodrow Wilson was forced into that war, yet by those two Jews, Brandeis and Untermeyer, on the Supreme Court, who demonized German goods, and all of a sudden we've got the massive killing of 80 million people, yeah, just to keep the numbers down. Okay, and this is the one that takes in Right Honourable Peter Bruce Lilly. Okay, and if we look at John Philip Henry Schomberg-Scott, you'll see the magnitude of the religious scam where they have shareholdings in the fucking cathedral. Okay, and there's the Humphreys, and there's the Schomberg-Scotts that interlock with them. Yeah, and there's Miss Jane Nay Rothschild Tufnell, the cricketer. Yeah, you remember the Cockney on the Question of Sport every week. Yeah, right then. So, we're looking for the who's the director and the secretary, Mark Fitzallen Howard. And this is Peter Lilly from the British government. I've not looked at him in any detail, but he's on the board of this notorious company that uses the treason in Dundee as a joke, like the Rob Roy film where the Scottish loyalist wives get raped by Archie, the character. Yeah, and I forget what his other name is. Is Cunningham. Do you get it? The cunning fox joke. Okay. Oh, they're not going to let me open that one. Isn't that tragic for someone with... Oh no, they have. 13 Camden Hill Square, London. Resigned from 21 since I came on the scene. Closed 4. He's got none now. Poor sacrificial lamb. Right then, let's have a look at his interlocking directors. This is the brother-in-law, I suspect. I'm not sure, because there are so many Dukes of Norfolk that you cannot tell. None of them are in Norfolk. Most of the people in Arundel are the Balfours now. Yet all of that is graphically depicted in the Braveheart film. Right then, so this is the legend in the movies of Thomas Moore, Thomas Moore's friend, yeah, the one who also said, "This is not Spain, Thomas, you're perfectly safe. Why don't you just sign the petition and let the king have 6 wives and behead 3 of them in the name of morality?" Right then, so related directors. Shall we have a look? It'll take a long time, but this is the whole of this video is dedicated to Michael Ancram's relatives. Yeah, and all of the undeclared stuff. Yeah, they've got loads of registrations. It takes you ages to find them, and some of them are in the Americas, some of them are in Australasia. All of them are globalized now. That is the Ariana Huffington and the Aryan web that is globalism. Launched out of Chicago by the economics theorist that was Milton Friedman, and Milton in all of the movies and all of the literature is the man that is the devil. Yeah, Milton is the devil in The Devil's Advocate, played by Al Pacino, which are the jokes about the Cisalpine and the Transalpine Celtic regions. Yeah, McAlpine, the Tory fundraiser, yeah, never got a funeral after he died. Yeah, all the paedophilia scandals that took him into Prince Philip's thrall, Jimmy Savile's thrall, Archbishop O'Brien's thrall, all of them get away scot-free. So, related interlocking directors to the Duke of Norfolk, the High Marshals for our country for years and years and years. The Arundel Cathedral that is, okay, Ladybridge, and this one is the linkage to the Fleming profiteers. That's the Flemings that write the Bond novels, that laugh all the time at the stealing of the citizens' gold into Fort Knox. High Income Investment Trust PLC. Look at the number of companies that he's running. Lord Nigel Vinson. Okay, there's several Howards. Yeah, Lord Martin Fitzalan, Lord Gerald Bernard Fitzalan Howard, Duke of Norfolk Miles Francis Fitzalan Howard. Yeah, I forget what the name of Michael Ancram's wife is. Okay, and there's a Fitzwilliam Leigh, Michael Henry Pye Pearson Miles, Fleming Far Eastern Investment Trust Public Limited Company, the 45 registrations. Yeah, massive fraudsters. Yeah, this is the people. If we click on one of those dukes out of Norfolk, we will find that they run. Yeah, the shareholdings in the cathedral were based on a share issuance of less than £200. It's worth millions now. Okay, that's false Christianity. And these are page after page of interlocks. John Anthony Dick, that could be Mr. Dick of the hunt at Otterburn, yeah, where the fascists of Reedsdale were hard at work. Okay, John Dudley Webster, 104 investment trust PLCs, yet all financial services scams, taking over other people's continents. Fleming Far Eastern Company. Let's have a look at that. Oh no, let's just go with the Dukes of Norfolk's interlocks. So there are 3 interlocks with his own family on this. Nicholas William Berry, and that's the Fleming Far Eastern again. Francis Gifford, Wheeler Benefit, Jordan Steele, Valentine Patrick Fleming. He's got 31. Let's see who's on his interlocks. The Fleming International High Income Investment Trust PLC. Laugh up your sleeve. Okay, and these are the people that David Steele interlocks with in the scamming of the Scottish Government and all of the pretense that Scotland would be freed if the people were allowed to vote for it. Okay, Little Johns, Fleming Far East Company Limited, and these are just the secretaries. So they're at the top. Sir Robert Bryan Williamson, that is Gordon Bowden's MP for Derby, was a Williamson, but that's a different one. Sir Nathaniel William Hamish MacLeod, yeah, that's the MacLeods of Skye, yeah, that's the MacLeods of Lloyd's of London, and the ship crashing companies that are the insurers for all of the British Empire and sinking of the ships. Yeah, so that you can get the people on board that are the military people dead, and you can profit, yeah, from the claims that you make, regardless of whether or not you had treasure on board. Okay, and they're massive professorial linkages. And there's the Duke of Norfolk, Edward William Fitzalan Howard. Let's look on him, and let's look at the structure of his organisation and find the cathedral, and then we'll stop. Okay, Michael Ancram has the capacity for greatness. All he needs to do is stop pretending that he does not understand the Piso jokes, and his replacement by Claire Perry with the same initials as Calpurnius Piso, yeah, and he can take our country to a long and prosperous period of civilization. It's really easy to create that, but not with the current regimes in power. They're all muppets. Okay, so his companies are Arundel Castle Enterprises, East Wing Arundel Castle is his business address, Arundel Castle Trustees Limited, Arundel Services Limited, Fitzallen Estates Limited, Industrial we did this yesterday I think, Integrated Waste Services Limited, Norfolk Estate Farms, Norfolk Trustees Limited, Parkwood Environment. Let's look at his summary and we'll see what his structure is. Yeah, I just want you to see. I know they've not got structure on it. No, that's really strange. I don't know how I can show you, but I've made a whole video on their shareholdings and the massive scams. It's a huge estate, okay? And it's just to the west of all of the Brighton secretaries and directors, okay? I don't know how they've gotten away with taking the structures out. So if we look for related directors and look for some of the other Dukes of Norfolk, we might find and the Allen thing becomes Allah, by the way, and it becomes the false religions. Yeah, that's the Piso movement moving left and right and staying at home in Rome. Okay, Arundel Castle Trustees. There's loads of them. Can you see how many of them are? Miles Francis Fitzallen, Lord Gerald Bernard Fitzallen, Lord Martin Fitzallen Howard. Let's see if any of them have ownership of the cathedral. Yep. Brockfield Hall, so this is in York. Yeah, they're all over the country. And Ladybridge, that sounds like the farming activities that was listed. So goodness knows which one is the brother-in-law, but none of them have the structures to report now. Anyway, I'm going to stop there and let's have a wee look at Michael Ancram himself, just in case he's giving any of the game away. Oh, this is Brodie's, yeah, with all the companies crashed. Let's see, and Alistair Carnegie Campbell has 68 companies. Let's see what the 13th Marquis of Lothian, I think that will be the, oh no, he's only got 4 companies. And the Drummond guy has 8. So the Marquis of Lothian only has 1. And one has no idea what that will be. So let's have a look at his lackey and see this time what Carnegie Campbell is doing, like the Hogg, yeah, the Lieutenant Hogg was doing in the other registration. Okay, so companies, Athol Crescent, that's Blair Athol. That is the massive crime scene for the Glamis Castle, and I met the charming stable girl who I believe is the illegitimate daughter of Prince Charles. Did not dare say that to her. She's speaking openly to me, and her boyfriend did too. Yeah, they're from the Glamis stable. Yeah, and that is Prince Charles's affair with Camilla when they were just teenagers. Oh no, sorry, that was the siring of Simon Day. That's the undisclosed lover of Prince Charles that was mentioned by Greg Hallett. Okay, so these are the interlocks with a Duke of Norfolk. With Michael Ancram, or the Marquis of Lothian. Yeah, and that is out of the Lothian estate offices on the outskirts of Jedburgh, right underneath the Pinal Heugh, with the River Teviot between them and Michael Ancram's secret home of Monteviot. 15 Athol Crescent, Edinburgh, EH3 38HA. Right then, what companies have we got here? Hurry up, hurry up. Oh, Adelphi Distillery, 1826 Limited. That could be a Ponzi number or a foundation date. Yeah, it's just going to be anonymous companies. Arc Development, Asia Trade and Investment Consultants. 7 pages of it. Avoki Estate, Baldwin's Leisure Estates Limited. That's the Baldwin linkages to the medieval days and the elite bloodlines that run the world. Brodie's and Company Trustees. This is the enemies of Stuart Usher. This is Brodie's LLP. This is Miss Jean Brodie and the Ammon Valley. Yeah, that is the school where the fascists go to, and that is Miss Mackay, and that is the name of the Kelso headmistress who replaced the Freemason and the Burns Club man that I used to play rugby with. Yeah, all of it is a massive Freemasonic cabal. Yeah, and that is the people that send their children to work in Malawi, where nothing ever changes for the better. Capital Construction, Clinam Limited, Context Property Developments. Don't know how the Howards have gotten rid of their cathedral commitments and their shares. Deveron Holdings, that is up in the north of Scotland. We fished it. Yeah, Durlinda Limited, Edinburgh Designs Limited, Fordlin Limited, Foster Properties, Gazebo Games. Yeah, quite boring, but all of it is a money stream for the Marquis of Lothian. Yeah, and all of it is done by other people who are administrators in that office. Kynaston Ore Limited, Leamington House Limited, Lennox Farms. Yeah, the sinister, treasonous names that are associated with the Braveheart film. Oh, offshore salmon farming. Yet the use of genocidal and biocidal ivermectins that I worked on as a PhD student with Kate Middleton's mum. Yeah, in the toxicology units run by Professor David Beadle, yeah, at Thames Poly, which becomes Baron Blackstone's Greenwich University, and all of the Intel hub. Yeah, and the line from Tunstall to Greenwich, that is the Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah, Old Leith Recipe Limited, Morrison Glasgow Distillers, Macready Advertising Limited, M&G Carnegie Limited, the world's greatest anthropologists, Lothian Estates. This is Michael Ancram himself. Yeah, someone else getting the dirty so that he can only declare that he's got one company on the business register. Nice little earner. Offshore salmon. Yeah, we could take a look at that. That has probably got Norwegian owners too. Yeah, and there's the Old Leith. That is the links to what is now the administration for Alex Salomon Rothschild's SNP, now that Sturgeon is in charge of it. Yeah, that is all the civil service has moved down to Leith. Okay, PP Holdings, RDBT Mining Services, Randolph Hill Limited, Riach and Hall Limited, Rossi and Oakhill Enterprises, Salgiod Limited, Scott Crete Limited, Sidley Limited, St John's Cornerstone Bookshop, St John's Cornerstone Cafe. That's the terms for the Freemasons that we explained in video number 1 about all of the Mike Taylor and all of the Hiram Abif stories. One more to go, yeah, for the lackey of Lord Lothian. Yeah, they're right into the stories. Yeah, Viewforce 200 Limited, Vis Alarms Limited, the Westmore Malt Whisky Company Limited, Salmon Pool and Stream Limited. So they own the River Tweed, yet they're corrupting and polluting the whole of Scottish shoreline by using the salmon farming, yeah, and those horrendous insecticidal anti-parasitic things to get rid of the lice, which is the names for Argylle, and the people that were in the Piso family making their way out of Naples east-west with all of the false religion. Okay, Sydney and Glasgow Properties Limited, Sydney and London Trongate Properties Limited. This is Michael Ancram, and you've seen the massive network of linkages to the Dukes of Norfolk. And on the other computer next door, I've shown you the maps of the Norfolk area and where Devizes is and how that links into all of the other names for the Ancram families and the Kerr families. Yeah, and how that one of them, the originator of the bloodline that is in Dalkeith, yeah, he was trained in Verdun, yeah, in France, where the massacres occurred, and he was trained in Leiden, where all of the Pilgrim Fathers were trained to take false Christianity out of Plymouth, yeah, with the PI letters in the front. Yeah, the L looks like an I when you read it that way. Okay, all of them are trained to kill all of the pagans, and that is sharing the Mayflower and all of the other little James ships and things that sailed, yeah, with the FDR bloodline from Holland, yeah, and with the de la Mont bloodlines from Holland, yeah. All of them are the Dutch mafias that end up being the religious and the orangeries for the Rothschilds on that other computer, and that's the story I'm going to tell you tomorrow, and it's a very dark one indeed. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Quite a boring video, that one. Yeah, none of it can be rehearsed. They're ever so agile. All of the stuff on the cathedrals and the share issuance and the structure has been made in earlier videos. Look up George Lees and the Dukes of Arundel and the Arundel Cathedral profiteering through the issuance of shares. Yeah, and so the Scottish relatives are on the boards and on the preservation bodies, and all of them get the profits from the war dead and the military tattoos and all of the output of the British Legion. And you know what Butcher Haig did in World War I. Yeah, you know how all of it ended. You know that all of the returning troops get suppressed. There are no economic viable things apart from munitions factories that have been founded in all of the Rothschild run wars. It is totally sinister, and the name Carnegie in the middle there, yeah, is absolutely typical. They run the railroads and the steel magnates in Canada and in the US. Yet they build the libraries, they build the massive institutions, and the massive universities are warmongering and profiteering geopolitical manipulation tools through all of their history. The Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers Management Limited. Okay, I'd like to take, just for curiosity, a little glimpse at where that fishing thing is that has the Offshore Salmon Limited. Let's see where that is and where it's registered. Yeah, this is not Spain, okay? Oh, they're registered in Athol Crescent in Edinburgh. Okay, its directors are yeah, the ivermectins. They work at 10 to the minus 15 molar level. That's femtomolar doses. Yeah, that's a tiny, tiny drop in the ocean, and it's enough to kill all of the life surrounding that cage for several miles. Yeah, they're not allowed to do it in Norway, but the Norwegian firms set up in Scotland, and that is Salmon's scam. All of it is pre-planned. Yeah, he goes on massive trade fairs all around the world, scamming and selling off all of the assets that used to be public and are now strictly private. Alistair Carnegie Campbell and David Allen Guild, two people on that, and they've got the secretary is the asset stripped Stuart Usher. Yeah, that's Brodie's, Miss Jean Brodie, and the school that was the Marcia Blaine School. Thank you to the Blaines locally for coming on side and talking to me more and more openly, even those that live next to my wife from Chipping Norton. Bye bye.